The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. One day I traveled to Berlin to see just where the wall was. They tore it down in '89 in the name of love. But to some of us the wall still stands, and to some it never did. The problem lies not in the stones, but in the minds that built it. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. Everyone around the world all feel the same emotions. The children know what Lenin said, that all we need is love. We've glorified the intellect and sacrificed the heart. Let's blow the walls to kingdom come. We all can do our part, yeah. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. Paradise is nothing but a state of mind when there's love in your heart. Unity is waiting just around the bend. Now's the time for us to do our part. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers. The only thing that separates one people from another is the wall inside their heads when they forget we are all brothers.
Without a warning, without a sound, we woke up one morning to a world turned upside down. Everything changed in the blink of an eye, dealing with the unknown and trying to survive. We were locked down in our homes, surrounded by bad news every day, watching our lives as we knew it quickly fade away. And when this is all over, in our new reality, when we gather together, will we still stay apart 6 feet? Will the music be playing like it did before? When this is all over, I'll treasure each day even more. We've been through quite a battle, like none we've ever seen. We kept hoping we'd wake up to find out it was all a bad dream. But that day's never come. It'll be a while yet, with more obstacles to overcome and challenges to be met. We were locked down in our homes, surrounded by bad news every day, watching our lives as we knew it quickly fade away. And when this is all over in our new reality, when we gather together, will we still stay apart 6 feet? Will the music be playing like it did before? When this is all over, I'll treasure each day even more. We were locked down in our homes, surrounded by bad news every day, watching our lives as we knew it quickly fade away. And when this is all over in our new reality, when we gather together, will we still stay apart 6 feet? Will the music be playing like it did before? When this is all over, I'll treasure each day even more. And when this is all over, I'll treasure each day even more.
No more doubt or confusion. I release pain of illusion. Yes, there's only one solution. Yeah, yeah. What I found is oh so simple. Deeper love in a temple, and I found it in the stillness of my soul. 'Cause all there is God. Oh, yeah. All there is God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All there is God. Let me hear your voice. All there is God. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, take me back to the beginning. I feel the Spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make
is God.
All there is God.
All there is God.
All there
All there is God. God is all there is.
all there is. Now I'm resting in the knowing that my good is overflowing, and my faith is ever growing. Yeah, yeah. Take me back to the beginning. Feel my spirit moving in me. Make me stronger, make me willing. Yeah. All there is God. All there is God. Yeah. All there is God. Oh God, everywhere you turn. All there is God.
Love,
All there is love.
peace,
All there is peace. Past all understanding.
truth,
All there is truth.
God.
All there is God.
All there is God. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? Given the chance, I'm gonna tell you now. How many ways can I give thanks for the blessings I have known? I've got a list, and I will tell you how. Grateful for each breath awake, grateful for each step I take, grateful that I'm here to play my part. Grateful for the morning sun, grateful when the day is done, grateful that I have you in my heart.
I'm Welcome to the Pod Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe that there are many paths to one divinity. So what does that mean for you sitting at the house, watching on a Sunday morning, on a Sunday afternoon, or on a Thursday? You have 9 different faith speakers, perspectives perhaps. We give each one the same single word topic. And as they come together week after week, we call that a series. Coupled with them, we have 10 different positive music artists. And we give them that same topic, and they put together 2 videos a week and add to the series. We all send our bits and pieces in to the incomparable Philip Lupo, who puts it all together in a Sunday service, which you're sitting around hanging out watching on a Tuesday morning. Anytime is possible, right? www.peopleofdiversity.org. That's how you can join us in community. There's a donate button in the middle of that page, and you can hit that button and join us on a weekly tithe, on a monthly tithe, or just on a one-time donation. However you want to play, we are grateful, but please play.
Last week we continued our topic of prayer with Rabbi Pat Hickman. She is always a treat, and her musical guest was David Roth. It was a really good service. If you missed it, go back to the People of Diversity page and watch it. It was very, very good. This week we have our Wiccan representative, Oracle, and his musical guest is making her debut as a regular with us, Kim Belew. Next week is Reverend Sue Bailey, who founded the pod many years ago, and her musical accompaniment is Melanie England. So we're looking forward to hearing what they have to say about prayer. Join us after the service, after the morning service at 11:45. From 11:45 to 12:15, we do a live Zoom deep dive, and the link is on the screen. I think it usually is. And it's posted in the Facebook event, and you can come on and join us, and we talk. Sometimes the speaker can join us, and sometimes they can't. But we always have wonderful discussion and check in. And usually Oracle joins us, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's not there this Sunday. So Sunday evening at 5:45, we rebroadcast the morning service, and it's not live like the Zoom, like the deep dive, but it's on Facebook Live, just like this is, and so we can chat and shoot hearts, and it's fun, and it's really nice to listen to the talk again and to the music, but to get a second dose of that, or to send somebody that you know that might appreciate what you heard in the morning. So join us for that. You can get notifications about these services through Facebook, but go to the People of Diversity Facebook group or Facebook page and ask to join, because they aren't doing watch parties anymore. They didn't have them last week. We tried.
They have gone away.
They have gone away, as they were threatening to do. So that has happened. And so just go to the Facebook page and ask to join, and we'll let you in, and you'll just get a notification about when the events go up, which is usually the middle of the week, and then again on Sunday to remind you to tune in and watch. So every week we bless a state, and I have a confession. I skipped a state. This is supposed to be Virginia, the week for Virginia, and instead I did Washington. So we're going to do Washington this week, and we'll do Virginia next week. So
a little double back.
That's right, out of order, but that's okay. So here are some fun facts I learned about Washington. It is the only state that was named after a president. That was my hint that I messed up, because my thing said only state named after a president, and I said Virginia? Not yet. Soon. Maybe someday soon. Washington produces more apples, raspberries, and sweet cherries than any other state. Washington is 52% forest and is the only place in the country with rainforest, temperate rainforest. That's pretty cool. Father's Day originated in Washington in 1910. Washington has 10 volcanoes. Most everybody remembers Mount St. Helens. 10 volcanoes and more than 3,000 glaciers. Wow. Hell's Canyon is the deepest gorge in North America, and it's 8,000 feet deep. Boeing's Spinal Assembly Plant, where they put together their airplanes, in Everett, Washington, is the largest building by volume in the world. Used to be the Vehicle Assembly Building here in Brevard County out at the Space Center was the largest building by volume, but this Boeing plant took its place. The Rosalini Bridge spans Lake Washington between Seattle and Medina, and it is the world's largest floating bridge. And lastly, Washington is home to Starbucks, Microsoft, and Amazon. Yeah. So we want to hold the people of Washington in our hearts. If you're here in Florida with us, it's the furthest place except Alaska in the United States, all the way across and north. So we want to hold the people in Washington in our hearts, knowing they want the same things in their lives that we do. And we bless them, and we say these words together. May peace prevail in Washington. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
So, Miss Kim Belew, welcome to the team. We've been looking forward to your arrival. Kim has done a couple of different pieces for us over the last couple of years, mostly for special events. And when we asked her to join us, she said excitedly yes. So we're looking forward to her two pieces today. And Oracle, who has been with us from the very, 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 very beginning. We are always enthralled and enlightened by your take on whatever the topic might be. And it's always from such a heartfelt place, and we're just grateful for how you play, sir. So without further ado, we will see you on the other side.
So the next song is, as I'm going around to churches, I'm finding something that happens a lot is there's a stuck thing that's happening where there are people that think that we can only do either what has been done or we can only do what's being done. And I wanted to create something that shows that you can do what has been done and what's being done together, and we can walk hand in hand on this journey. It doesn't have to be a choice. It doesn't have to be an either or. It's all together. And Tyler is going to come up and sing with us. And this is called Grace Amazing. It's my new version of Amazing Grace. I love tradition. I love the new ways too. I can honor the Orthodox. I can also go outside the box. I can color in the lines, but beyond the border is fine. There's a between space. There's a place we meet, and it is holy grace. You strip it or dip it, keep it or flip it. Love is love, and truth still reigns. However presented, straight or bended. Amazing grace is always grace.
So light.
And so, something that happened to me in this last year, something that, and I'm going to walk over here to the piano while I talk to you if you don't mind, and Natalie. Something that happened to me in this last year is that I awakened to some things that I regretted. You ever feel like there's something that you felt like you made a choice and you could never go back, and you can't fix it? And so I had made a choice when I was 20 to have shock therapy. And before that point, I played the piano. And after that point, I didn't. And so I had thought I was just never going to play again. And then about a year ago, I decided, what if I tried? And two amazing things happened. Not only did I learn to play something, I started singing as I was learning. And so the best way that I've found to kick out something that's not the truth of who I am is to claim something that is. And so I started to learn to play Imagine. And it's one of my favorite songs, and I made a YouTube video of it. And so I'm going to play that, and I'm going to sing it for you right now with the help of beautiful Natalie here. And I'm going to ask you to do something and hold this space for me, because we think sometimes, or I do, that everything has to be perfect before we show it to the world. And for me, the perfection is showing the world where I am on the journey, so that I can give you permission to step out too. And so this is my version of Imagine. And I ask you to breathe and hold a really sacred space with me right now, as I stumble and tremble and sing in front of you. Deep breath with me, because I need it. Wait, I got you. I got you. Thank you. Imagine there's no heaven. Can you imagine? It's easy if you try. Just try, just try, just try. No hell below us. No hell below us. Above us, only sky, it's only sky. Imagine all the people. Can you imagine living for today? Imagine there's no country. We don't need countries anyway. It isn't hard to do. I can do it if you can. Nothing to kill or die, nothing, nothing. And no religion too, no religion too. Imagine all the people. Can you imagine living life in peace? You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm glad that you're a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, you're not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. Who needs them anyway? I wonder if you can. I'm trying, but I think I can. No need for greed or harm. We have all that we need. This is the brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people. Can you imagine sharing all the world? You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm so glad that she's a dreamer. But I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. I hope someday you'll join us all around the world, and the world will be as one. I love you with everything. Thank you so much. That's my very, very, very vulnerable moment. So thank you for holding that awesome space with me.
Merry meet. This is Oracle. How are you? How is everybody today? Good morning, and thank you for welcoming me into your home. I am so blessed and privileged to be part of your lives at this very moment. I want to thank Becky and Scott, People of Diversity, for hosting me today. I want to thank our musical guest for such an excellent song. I think it was just marvelous. And I just want to thank you again, you as the viewer, for allowing me to come into your home and just being such a blessing. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Oracle, and I am a Wiccan. That is, I'm a witch. And I have come today to talk to you about prayer. And what does prayer exactly mean in the context of witchcraft? Do witches pray? What is prayer if you are a witch? How do we establish prayer? Is it what does this mean for witches? Is witchcraft a religion? Is it not a religion? There's so many questions that the word prayer can bring up, and a lot of that comes from leaving a fundamentalist background. When we leave a fundamentalist background, a fundamentalist Christian background, we tend to bring with us a lot of the trappings of definitions and words and semiotics that they evoke, imagery. And so when we think of the word prayer, we think of that as that must be, it's a Christian thing. It's, we witches don't pray, and we'll get into that. But before I dive too deep into it, I just would like to start with saying that some witches will agree with what I'm saying here today. Some witches will not agree with what I'm saying here today, and that's fine. We have these conversations around the cauldron. That's perfectly acceptable. And I invite you to be part of that conversation. So without further ado, let's begin. Prayer. Prayer is interesting. The speakers that we're rotating on right now with the topic of prayer, you'll get to hear the definition repeatedly. So I'm not going to go into it right here, but you can obviously, to some, it is request to ask, but when you're doing it, it was used a lot of times in English, in Old English, a lot of people, or Middle English literature, you would see pray tell, or I ask you please to tell me, please let me know, but the verbiage would be pray tell. I ask you. It wasn't just a religious setting, it was a one-on-one setting between two people. So in summation, it was basically just ask. You're asking somebody, you're entreating somebody. And when it comes to the relationship between you and the divine, however you see it, there's a lot of debate, because prayer is a very scary word, and I'll tell you why. It's a scary word because it means that when you approach the divine in the form of prayer, and that approaching that you are the asker, that you are the one that's requesting, that means that you are at the mercy of something else, something more powerful, something bigger, something larger than you. And as such, having that kind of moment, knowing that you are subject to something else's mercy, can be quite frightening. It's awe-inspiring. And this is the reason why many witches debate about the nature of the gods, debate about the nature of the spirits, is because many witches feel that when they leave Christianity, or they leave their fundamentalist religious background, I'm not attacking Christianity in general, I'm just stating fact. When witches leave fundamentalist religious backgrounds, where prayer is an inundated action to be done basically 24/7, live a life of prayer, mind of prayer, then you just want to leave it all behind. And your approach then to the old gods is, well, how can I approach the gods? How can I approach the goddess? And all of a sudden, there's this new idea that is presented to you, that the gods are not just something outside of yourself, but they are within. So you are part of divinity. Divinity is a part of you. So you and divinity share something in common. And the trajectory that leads you in is up to you. It's up to your personal travel. Some people feel that we are kin to the gods. And so therefore, not that we are gods, but that we share qualities such as creation. The ability to create is a quality of the gods. And therefore, we exude that creativity in our lives. We exude that ability to invent and make up and just be and capture moments and manifest them into newer ideas, new forms, new manifestations, art, music, dance, paint, whatever it is. We have sculpture. We have these brilliant modicums of manifestation tools at our disposal. So it's a quality. Others believe that, maybe humanity are the gods. We are not big gods, like how Christians think of them, but we are little g's. We are little gods. The whole earth is at our disposal, and we are its caretakers, and we are the only ones that can say what will happen and what will not happen with our lives and our planet. Fate is in our hands. Our fate is in our hands as an individual and as a collective. There's so much to go around here. My approach is that of a polytheist. That is, that I believe that gods do exist outside of myself, but I also believe that divinity is within. I'm what's called a pan-entheist. I believe that divinity surrounds, it transcends, but it's also immanent. It penetrates. And just like how you are a separate being and I am a separate being, yet we share DNA, we share something about ourselves that makes us who we are. There's a unity between us, whether it's energy, DNA, what have you. We share something that makes us human. So too do the gods. They share something that makes them godlike. But gods and humans, we share something that makes us together as a collective. And again, that quality can be anything. I believe it's creation as a quality. That's just me. So going back to prayer, establishing the gods there for me. When you look at a lot of old books on Wicca and witchcraft, or even books today, many of them will emphasize magic. What is magic? There have been attempts to define it for a long time, and many attempts have been very verbose and some succinct. But if you look at, Aleister Crowley, Dion Fortune, and the late Daniel Michael Craig, these three magicians came together. Well, they didn't come together. They all lived in separate times. Excuse me. Let me start again. You had the magician Aleister Crowley, who said that magic is change according, the art and science of change according to will. Excuse me. The art and science, I just went blank for a second there. The art and science of change according to will. What does that mean? What is will? Will is the power to intent, capital I, the power of intent to manifest, to focus, to bring forth. The art and science of change. Dion Fortune, she, the famous ceremony magician, later she came up and she said that it was the art and science of change in consciousness. Change in consciousness according to will. That is, you altered your state of conscious in order for you to tap into something to make it happen, to bring forth that manifestation. The late Daniel Michael Craig went one step further, and he said that it was the art and science of creating change according to will, using means or methods not yet understood by Western science. Using means and methods not yet understood by Western science. So until science, Western science, can actually measure the kind of energy that we work with, we as occultists and witches work with, and shamans and others, it's going to remain something that we know from experience works. That's it. It's based on our experience that we know an energy flow is occurring based on the results that we see. Others like Oberonzel have said that it is probability enhancement. That's magic probability enhancement. Others have said that it is akin to just making things happen. Just make them happen. The power of your mind. Using visualization, controlled imagination, using the auric light, the power of your aura, focused that energy, using your words and your actions. You speak forth, and that speaking forth, that action of speaking forth something to make it happen is a spell. It's a string of words, a chant, a charm that actually helps to be a vehicle for that energy to ride in order for something to happen. And there is so much that is talked about when it comes to magic in the books. Altars, shrines, tools, full moons, seasons, plants, animals, totems, this, that, whatever. However you have it, it is all geared towards understanding the correspondences of magic. And to make your magic more adept, more skilled. However, say the word prayer, and many witches will be like, no, we do not do that. Because the idea of prayer brings us back to that subjugation. It brings images of weeping and groveling and begging and pounding our fists on the floor and allowing ourselves to be ruled by some dominant power that is in charge over us, that this power judges us, condemns us for our sexuality, for our behavior, for our gender identity, for what the thoughts that we think. It's a very negative force. And the fact that we are told from birth or whenever we convert that we are supposed to subject ourselves to this thing is extremely, for many of us, self-abusive. It just is. And it can be very traumatic. So the word prayer can set some people off. If you approach a witch and you say, well, do you pray? And they're going to be like, no. And you're going to wonder, well, why the strong reaction? That's why. Now, some may not have that strong reaction. Some may actually be like, oh, well, excuse me. Some may feel that they will use the word spells and prayer as a synonym to try which one to claim. Well, you see, do witches pray? Well, yes, we do pray. We call them spells, and to try to be more palatable to the kids, to our families, to our nieces and nephews, or to others around us that we don't want to scare off. We use the word, we'll say spells are just prayers with a focus. Prayers with a focus. And if that works for you, that's great. I disagree. Because I feel that prayer is one thing and spells are another. And I'll explain momentarily. But many people will say that. They will use the word prayer and spell, those two words, as synonyms. I feel they are different for a reason. And many people will say Christians you do magic, and they will say, well, Christians do magic. They pray. Prayer is focused intent on something that they want to happen. And what is missed is the understanding that they're actually putting it in God's hands, or the saint's hands, if you're Catholic, or an angel's hands, or whoever, to make it happen. That it's not in your hand. For witches, it is in our hands. We make it happen. What we want to bring forth is so because we want to make it happen. We don't put it in the hand of another. However, there is something that I call devotional witchcraft. Devotional witchcraft. And this is something that I have taught for a long time, and I talk about it in my book, Devotional Witchcraft. Devotional witchcraft is witchcraft, but that allies itself to the spirits around us, to the old gods and to the spirits around us, the animism of the world. And we petition the gods. That's right. We petition the gods, we petition the spirits, and we are able to come to them in gratitude. And we are able to come to them and develop a relationship with them. For me, as a devotional witch, prayer is a medium by which I can establish a relationship with a God or with a spirit. And by doing that, I can then use that modicum of prayer, and what I mean by prayer, specifically, I know originally it's ask, it's entreat, but for me, I take it one step further. For me, prayer is not just ask or entreat, it is also communication. Prayer for me is composed of a cycle. First is the projection of the entreatment, or the communication from me to the God, or from me to the spirit. And the second is the meditation, or the act of listening. And that is broken up into parts. You have, from my heart, the heart of the deity, or the spirit. I come before you. Gift giving, I have offerings of incense, or wine, or honey, or milk, or bread, or or bird seed or what have you. I have offerings to give you. I have gifts to give you. And then after I give you these gifts, I will part of listening is to divine, tarot deck, pendulum, runes, knuckle bones, cowrie shells, trance meditation work, whatever, however it goes, but whatever method you use, but it's listening. It is actively listening for the voice of the spirits, for the voice of the gods. And then you act on it. You journal, you write it down, it's there, and then you act on it. You listen, you look through it, and so forth. And that's growth. That's how you measure your growth, your spiritual walk. So prayer for me is not just this is prayer by definition, but it's also something that you do consistently. If you're developing a relationship, if you are reaching out to a deity, if you are wanting to be in contact with a spirit, water spirit, a sea goddess or sea god, an air deity, storm spirits, rock, river, whatever the case may be, then it behooves you to at least take notice upon yourself to reach out and to be able to say, okay, I am going to now enter into a mind of prayer. And unlike some places where, you know, there is a written prescribed prayer that's given to you. There are books out there, like books of pagan prayer that you can borrow and use and adapt. I mean, there are more and more these days devotional prayers. Many neo-pagans and witches are starting to find the benefit in developing a relationship with deity through consistent devotional prayers, such as prayers before meals, prayers, before bed, prayers in the morning, solar when the sun rises, solar adorations, lunar adorations when the moon rises, during the cycles of the moon. We certainly have prayers and blessings for infants and for coming of age rituals, and when we create circles and cast circles around for our rituals and set up shrines and ritualistic establishing sacred spaces and such. So prayer is a part of who we are as witches. Whether we recognize it as prayer or such is up for debate, because again, some people say it's magic, some people say it's prayer. But and there are some things that I think, like, as I was giving examples, excuse me, I jumped ahead, but as I was giving examples just now about, for example, when witches get together and we create sacred space by casting a circle, establishing a boundary space using certain incantations, and then setting up an altar to anchor the energy using specific tools and specific correspondences and specific colors. And then we have the calling of honoring the four directions, the spirits of the four directions. And then we have the raising of the energy according to how Wicca does it. These are all methods of magic, but they can also be said to be ritualistic prayers. And again, but as I was saying before, whether it's prayer or it's magic is up for debate from some witches. Some people will lean hard one way and lean hard the other way. Some things can be strictly considered magic, such as sex magic, and then some things can be considered strictly prayer, devotional shrine prayer, certainly. So, but where the two blend is completely up to the individual and how they define it. There really is no strict, hard, fast rule that says this is prayer and this is magic. But I do want to let you know that many times you will not find prayer involved in many of the books that are out there, simply because it is such a hot topic. It is such a controversial topic. Again, many witches shy away from it because of those fundamentalist reasons. and the images that it does evoke. But hopefully with healing and with time, I know for me, it took a lot of healing and it took a lot of time for me to face this idea of prayer as bad. It took a lot of healing. Um, I used to be a Christian minister, actually. And so I was very deep into fundamentalist Christianity. And when I left, it was a very trying time. It was an extremely trying time because I was attempting to figure out where I fit in the world. I was now without a church, without a church home, without people, without family, and I needed to know if I could turn to a deity or not. And it took me a long time to wrestle with my beliefs. I even turned to atheism for a little bit there. And for a long time, though, even when I did explore witchdom, witchcraft, and I explored neo-paganism, prayer didn't enter my mind at all. This idea of prayer, I was focused more on magic and spirituality. But as the closer I came to my deities, my goddesses, and the old gods, and my spirits, the more I realized my power lay in devotions. The strength of my witchcraft was in my devotions. And the more I gave devotions to my gods and my spirits, the better my magic turned out, the better my results in my life turned out. And I can't thank the people in my life enough for that kind of support as well. I have to thank people. You know, we thank the ones around us. But truly, living a life of prayer changed my life. And I was able to, at some point, heal and reconcile prayer of what I learned as opposed to prayer of what I now know and I now live. So I definitely can say for myself that there is a lot that I'm still learning as far as prayer is concerned. There is a lot that I am still adapting to. I mean, I've been involved in devotional witchcraft for quite a while already, and yet my devotions continue to adapt and change, and more information comes to me every day. There's always something new. There's always a new way of praying that I learn. There's always a new way of understanding mentally what I'm doing. There's always a different method to approach the gods and to approach the goddesses and to approach the spirits. But I'm learning, and the more that I learn, the more that I share as it applies to my life. But it's definitely a contentious topic, and I believe many will probably contend with this topic as well, and many will probably continue to disagree and say, well, with prayer is not something witches do, and others will say, well, no, I'm a witch, I do pray. So it will continue. There's not going to be any kind of consensus because, again, witchcraft is not about right belief. It isn't. We're not an orthodoxy. We don't have any orthodoxy. We don't have any set of doctrines. As a matter of fact, the only doctrine we may have is that there is no doctrine. We are anti-doctrine. We don't have any statement of beliefs like churches do or like other religious houses of worship do, other religions do. We have right practice. What is the right way of doing ritual? What is the right way of raising energy and experiencing magic? What are the right principles? And so by doing that, we leave the experience of how we understand the gods to the individual. For me, I'm a polytheist. I went from being an atheist to an archetypalist, like a deist. Kind of believe they were there, kind of not, almost agnostic. But if they were there, they were just archetypes. They were just psychological symbols you can get in touch with. And then now I'm a polytheist. And it changed because of my devotional routine and how my life kept changing, my beliefs kept changing. So my beliefs definitely were dictated by my practice, but everyone is different. Everyone is different. There are witches who have not changed, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that they're better or worse. That the word change should not be taken as I'm better than them. It should just be taken as that's their life. So many witches, some are deists, some are atheists, some are pantheists. That is, they believe energy is everywhere. There are no individual beings out there. Energy just flows. We are all connected. I believe that as well. I believe deity is immanent. I believe the divine is within. I just happen to also believe the divine is without, and we have some kind of relationship with divinity in some sense. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much today for joining me for this talk. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your lives and for joining me in this topic of prayer and witchcraft. I'm sorry I couldn't dive into it too long. It's such a vast topic, and I could go so much more detailed into it as far as how witchcraft and belief systems can happen and occur, but that'll be for another time. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you again to Becky and Scott. Thank you, people of diversity. Thank you to our musical guests. And merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Blessings to one and all. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Kim. Awesome, just really great, and welcome to the family. We're very happy to have you here with us. So thank you. And Oracle, I just love you. You are always so inspiring and so knowledgeable. You're one of the best well-read people that I know in my entire life, and I know a lot of people that read a lot. So and you always share it in such a good way that it's digestible. Absolutely. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you and love you. Join us immediately after the morning service at 11:45 to do the deep dive, and we will stop at 12:15. So not to take up your afternoon, and it's fun, and it's nice to see people. It's really nice to see people. So join us for that. And then tonight at 5:45 we will rebroadcast this service. If you enjoyed it this time, watch it again. You'll get all new stuff. I guarantee it. You'll go, oh, I don't remember hearing that. Yeah, every time. So join us for that.
www.peopleofdiversity.org. Once again, I'm going to invite you to go to the website, hit the donate button, and tithe as you're moved. At this point, we'd like to take a moment and just acknowledge and say thank you for those tithes and that circulation. So if you'll take a deep breath, put your feet on the ground, close your eyes. Spirit, thank you for this opportunity to be in circulation, to be connected, to support and be a part of this amazing community. And in gratitude, we say amen. So don't click off just yet, because my favorite part of all services is this piece. So if you'll bring to mind anyone in your personal circle that might need support or help, think out to people you've been concerned about out in the world, the goings on in the world this week, and bring those into your mind's eye, and then open your own heart as we come together, listen to this beautiful song, and send energy out to all those who would need it, ourselves included. And we will see you next time.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power
indescribable, and just speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love.